Don't worry about him. I worry about my man. And I know that Conor Benn can win world titles in divisions below 160. He can sell out any arena in the country. He's one of the biggest, not just boxing stars in Britain, sports stars in Britain now.
But Conor's naturally fiery. Conor has that bit between his teeth. You know, he's his dad's son. His dad was as fiery as they come, and so was Conor. I think if Chris Eubank Jr. was placid and respectful, I think Conor would still be fiery.
These rematches with these types of intense fights taking place, like Conor and Eubank,
I'm trying to pull him.
a rematch right away will probably end their career. You know, it's that intense.
Do you see that fight happening? And do you think Ben won't get the better of Eubank?
I think Conor Benn beats Eubank.
Boxing experts are leaning toward Conor Benn, dominating the sequel against Chris Eubank Jr., and their reasoning hits hard. Benn's youth and hunger give him an edge his rival lacks. He already shook Eubank Jr. in the first match with heavy shots that landed and rattled him with a refreshed frame and a mindset to finish what he started. Benn isn't just chasing redemption. He's chasing a knockout that proves he learned the lesson from their last war.
The terms are already agreed for the rematch to move forward. And it's the same as the first contract in that respect. So,
the rematch between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. is set for Saturday, the 15th of November, 2025 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, after Eubank Jr. secured a unanimous decision win in April. The bitter rivals will face off again in a night billed as unfinished business.
The Ring Magazine. Breaking. Ring Magazine has learned Sella completed the deal for the highly anticipated Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn rematch on November 15th in Tottenham Stadium. The event will be presented as The Ring, Unfinished Business. Not gonna lie, they kind of did finish the business the first time around. I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. won, but it was a great fight. It was probably fight of the year, or one of the fights of the year, what we've seen this year in 2025. But that being said, it was interesting, and there was always supposed to be a rematch clause, so we're running it back. Also, the event will be promoted by Sella and sponsored by Riyadh Season and the Ring Magazine. Here is the article. First it was off, then on, then off again. Now the rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn is officially back on. The Ring has learned the deal to see them run it back from their April 26th showdown was completed through Sella on Tuesday. They will have approximately 3 months to prepare for their sequel.
Eubank Jr. has even brought in coach Brian McIntyre, who guided Terence Crawford to fine-tune his game plan and turn a good victory into a statement one. Brian insists that Eubank Jr. will be significantly sharper this time. McIntyre says bringing his killer instinct mindset and refined game plan will give Chris the upper hand. He pointed out that Eubank already got Benn's number in their first meeting, and this time the preparation will make the fight a little bit easier. McIntyre praised Eubank Jr.'s attitude in the gym ahead of the rematch, noting how Eubank trains so hard and carries a genuine intent for winning. McIntyre emphasized that unlike past camps, this time the preparation has full commitment and focus. Meanwhile, Benn enters motivated by redemption, aiming to reverse the narrative and prove his position as an elite fighter rather than a near miss.
Chris Eubank Jr., you're with him for the rematch against Liam Smith. How did it come about, you coming back into camp with him for this one?
Well, while we was finishing up with Crawford, Chris's guys, they hit me up maybe a month out and asked me would I be, interested. I told them, of course, right away, because I felt like that me and Chris got a good repertoire together, we got a good relationship, and we come out with good results whenever we hook up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask actually. What made you jump straight back into it? I asked Chris almost the same question about you, what it was that he wanted to work with you for. What is it about Chris that you particularly enjoy training or working with? Well, one thing about Chris when it comes to boxing is he's definitely got dog in him. Even though he maybe got 2 or 3 losses, he fights to the nail. He fights to the end, tooth and nail. It's not hard to get him to do anything because it's always yes coach, yes coach, yes coach. Go in there and get in the day in the gym is wonderful because you ain't got to yell at him or nothing. We just go to what we need to go to, and we get the job done. How much would you say your relationship with him has evolved from kind of working with him first time to now working with him for a second time?
I think it's beautiful now. He's talking a little bit more in camp, so that just makes it seem like he's a little bit more.
British middleweight contender Hamza Shiraz has expressed confidence in Conor Benn's chances against Chris Eubank Jr. in their rematch. Shiraz, who has shown interest in facing Eubank Jr. himself, believes that Benn's aggressive approach and high-pressure style could be the key to victory.
Won't get the better of Eubank?
I think Conor Benn beats Eubank, but I kind of need Eubank to win. Do you know what I mean? For myself, from a selfish perspective, I need him to win.
Did you want to fight him?
Yeah, exactly.
Would it be the first defence if you win that, or when you win that WBC title? Is that someone that you would choose?
100%. 100%. As long as obviously everyone's okay with it, it'd be that. I mean, why not? It'd be the biggest fight for me next in boxing, and I haven't got long left in the 160-pound division, so it's not me going on about taking certain defences.
Dave Caldwell discussed the rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn on TalkSport, providing a deep analysis of both fighters. While he acknowledged that Eubank Jr. should theoretically have the advantage due to his size, he also pointed out significant concerns that could favor Benn. Despite this, he emphasized that Benn's relentless pace and ability to land clean shots could be dangerous, especially if Eubank struggles with the weight cut. While Caldwell hesitated to make a final prediction, he suggested that Benn has a real chance, particularly if Eubank Jr. fatigues late in the fight. He concluded that if Eubank Jr. is not at his best, Benn could capitalize, making this a truly unpredictable and exciting matchup.
I think the bigger man should win, but the bigger man's he's not great himself. You know, when we talk about a good bigger beats a good little, listen, you've got to remember, Eubank's not great. And in his last fight, I thought he looked old. It's the first time I've looked at him and I thought...
in Riyadh, I agree with you. He got
Gareth, I thought he looked old.
Yeah.
I thought he looked old. Yeah. And if age is catching up on you, and listen, don't forget, his father has always banged on about him sparring heavyweights. When they were working together, he was always talking about he spars heavyweights, he stands there as well. That shortens your lifespan in boxing. That has an effect. And if time has now come onto it, he's 35 years old, he's struggling to make the weight, time comes onto you, you've got again, Benn might not be the biggest.
Hearn has pointed out that Conor Benn is at a significant disadvantage in this fight. He has to move up 2 weight divisions, which could heavily impact his performance. Fighters who move up in weight often struggle with adjusting to the additional power, endurance, and physicality of naturally bigger opponents. Benn will be facing Chris Eubank Jr., who is comfortable at this weight class, making it an uphill battle. Many boxing professionals view the fight as a mismatch due to the significant weight class differences between the two fighters. The concern centers around Benn moving up 2 weight divisions to face Eubank Jr., who has been competing at a higher weight class for most of his career. This leap raises questions about Benn's ability to handle the physical demands and power at the super middleweight level. The consensus is that size and weight advantages often play a crucial role in determining the outcome of a bout, potentially tilting the scales in favor of Eubank Jr.
Brook went up to fight Gennady Golovkin at middleweight. Guess what? There was a hydration clause with the IBF, and Gennady Golovkin makes it absolutely easily, as will Chris Eubank. But it's just, that's our job, and no need to moan about it. If you didn't want to do it, you didn't have to have it in there. But they know it's not a big deal. But who is at the bigger disadvantage? Conor Benn, coming up 2 divisions. And Chris Eubank just weighs in what he always weighs in. You know, that whole, they're stripping him down to 160. It's his fucking weight. I don't understand. Stop listening to Simon Jordan.
It's a mismatch. It's an entertaining matchup.
Why is it a mismatch?
Because of ability, because of weight classes. Chris Jr. is a middleweight and a super middleweight. You know, he's naturally a super middleweight. So, he's having to starve himself to come down, and, with all the catch weights and all of this stuff, it's a mismatch. Okay. He is operated at world level. He's been in with the likes of George Groves, and, the list goes on. It's a mismatch in ability. And
Spencer Finn, a respected boxing analyst, highlights the deep-rooted history between the Eubank and Benn families. He emphasizes that the rivalry, which began with their father's legendary bouts, adds a compelling narrative to the fight. Fear notes that this generational continuation has captured the public's imagination, making it a highly talked about fight. The historical context not only adds intrigue, but also places additional pressure on both fighters to uphold their family legacies. The historical context not only adds intrigue, but also places additional pressure on both fighters to uphold their family legacies.
And the hatred that he has, and I know when you really dislike someone, it brings something out of you. But you know, I'm looking forward to that fight for the simple fact is like that event within itself is fantastic because it's crossed over. Lots of people are talking about it. Everywhere you go, people are talking about it. There is nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely excellent. And plus, I can remember when the two fathers first fought, and the second time is when they fought in October of of '93. But when the fathers first fought, when they first went at it, I remember that fight clearly in my head. It was a Sunday night. It was at November 18th, 1990, and it was like, it seemed like the world stopped to watch that fight. And this has drawn something from it because everybody's talking about it. And fair play to both men. They're selling the fight really well, which is genuine. It's not orchestrated. Oh, you're going to do this. No, it's proper. So I'm looking forward to that fight.
Carl Froch has shared his thoughts on Conor Benn, calling him a great young man, but emphasizing that he has not fought top-tier competition. According to Froch, Benn is still unproven at the highest level and has not demonstrated the boxing skills necessary to dominate in elite matchups. He also mentioned that Benn has not been active in the ring for the last 3 years, which could negatively impact his ability to perform against a fighter of Eubank's caliber.
Benn, I mean, this is a guy that's not fought in Britain for 3 years. I think his last fight was in April 2022. And every time he talks, every time he gets in Chris Eubank's face over the last couple of days, I do feel for him a little bit. Can I first just say that Conor Benn, I know him and I've met him a few times, and he's such a nice kid, such a lovely, lovely young man. And when I say that, I mean, he's lovely, and he's obviously a fighter, and he wants to get in there and he wants to do some damage and hurt his opponent and get the knockout, and that's how he fights, and he's exciting when he fights. But he's not fucking fought anybody. And he's talking like a roadman killer. He's not been busy, he's fought no one. And can you answer me a question as well? What's happening with this drug testing issue? Is he banned? Is he serving a ban? Is there any official news? Because as far as I know, he's still not got a British Boxing Board of Control licence to fight. He still can't box. So does anybody know? Let me know in the comments. Is Conor Benn serving a ban, and it's a silent ban, they're not telling us about it? I'm not sure what the genuine beef is with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. I know they've got the history, like I mentioned, the father's name. Chris Eubank seems quite chilled and quite happy and smiley, but every time Conor Benn comes into close proximity with Chris Eubank Jr, he turns into a roadman killer, doesn't he? He's got serious beef. Every time he gets in his face, he puts it on him. Says he don't like him, he even hates him. He wants to smash his head in. I'm like, is this just selling the fight, or is this genuine needle? And if it is genuine needle, what's it for? Is it why you got so much beef? Is it just because of the family name? Conor Benn could do with winning this because he's 28 years old, and moving forward, he's got a potential bright future ahead of him. Chris Eubank Jr wins this fight. I'm not sure what doors it opens for him or where it takes him at 35 years old, because in my opinion, at this age of your boxing career, then you've only got 2 or 3.
Coach further added that this fight is not particularly exciting. He pointed out that Chris Eubank Jr does not fight frequently, typically stepping into the ring only once a year. Meanwhile, Conor Benn has done little to establish himself as a legitimate contender at this weight. Froch believes the gap in their weight classes makes this a mismatch rather than a competitive fight. Fans may not see the kind of action they expect, as there is an evident disparity in their natural fighting weight.
Eubank Jr. Conor Benn fight does absolutely nothing for me.
Really?
Yeah, Chris Eubank Jr. lost to George Groves, he lost to Billy Joe Saunders, he doesn't box, he boxes once a year. He looked terrible in his last fight. He was slow with his jab, he was leaving his chin in the air, his balance looks like it's gone. He's 36 years old, talking about fighting Canelo Alvarez and taking on all these top, he was talking about Triple G for a while, who's now gone 40 and retired. Conor Benn? What's Conor Benn done?
Not a lot, to be fair.
He beat Chris Algieri and failed, he's failed that drugs test. We're not seeing him do anything.
Yeah,
he's fought nobody. He's not developed. He's not developed. He's done nothing. So for Conor Benn to jump in there with Chris Eubank Jr., the only reason that fight would be close is because they're probably going to drain Eubank down to 160, a middleweight. And then, but Conor Benn's having to come up from 147.
Yeah.
So
the gap there
it's not an exciting fight. It don't prove anything.
Conor Benn is pushing the pedal to the floor ahead of his rematch with Chris Eubank Jr. He's brought his camp back to Essex, training out of an annex on his own land, so he stays dialed in while still seeing his kids between sessions. He's also targeting his mental side this time. Benn has enlisted Wim Hof's breathing and emotional control methods to make sure he stays calm, strategic, and sharp when the pressure hits.
Mentally. 36 minutes with it straight, no breaks, back and forth.
Feel like my soul left my body and come back. It's like you hit me, I fell asleep, you want me back up.
You know, it's mentally, you gotta just, sometimes you switch off, sometimes you take a dip, bring yourself back, keep going.
Maybe you can't afford to switch off. Do you know what I mean?
That's why we're getting mentally prepared. It's hard, like you said, it's harder in here than it is in the ring.
But then, Thursday, 12 steps, killer. By the end of the week, you just like.
I got them tomorrow.
You were like dreaming, weren't you?
I skipped the sprints.
He was dreaming about me running.
I skipped the sprints, but I got them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Heartbreak. Chris, he's hitting hard. Hit me today, I nearly went to sleep. Don't be getting, listen, he's gonna...
I knew it. I thought I seen said.
Nah, listen, honestly,
The rivalry between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. dates back decades, with both fighters hailing from boxing dynasties. Their fathers, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr., were legendary figures in the sport, known for their fierce battles in the 1990s. The prospect of their sons facing off in the ring generated immense public interest and anticipation.
Let me ask you, Nigel, I mean, it's clear that you guys are very, very close.
Yeah.
The reports are that Chris Eubank Sr. isn't quite currently as close with his son as you guys are. How does that make you feel, and why is it important?
Well, I would like to stop you there.
Go
First
for it.
of all, Chris, you know what, he's your son, mate. Come be there, mate. This is a family affair, mate. We need you there, mate. We can just catch up on old times. That'd be good to see.
Roy Jones Jr. isn't shy about who he favors in the showdown between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. He says Eubank Jr. wins with no problem because of three major advantages: his experience, his size, and being the better overall fighter. Jones points out Benn could cause trouble if he lands the right shot, but Eubank is ahead on nearly every level, assuming he stays sharp and avoids the traps.
It's gonna be hard for him to beat Chris Eubank because Chris Eubank is first bigger, he's faster, he hits harder, he's had more experience in really big fights. I don't see how.
Simon Jordan, known for his outspoken front row commentary in British boxing, has unleashed sharp criticism ahead of the Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn 2 showdown. He labeled the fight a cash grab spectacle born out of hype rather than merit, asserting it was a bar fight. And if you like bar fights, that's fantastic. Jordan argues neither fighter has truly earned elite status billing, and that the rematch is being packaged for profit over legacy. He added that the real unfinished business isn't about settling a score. It's about rinsing some more money out of everyone's pockets who want to watch the same thing again.
Way getting interested in it this time.
No, look, I think it's
I think you will next week.
Well, you can think again then. The terminology unfinished business is the only thing that's unfinished about it. They didn't manage to rinse enough money out of people the first time round. Unfinished what? Fight was won. What we got returned for? What's the return for?
But look, you know it more than me. This is what happens in boxing.
Show business, absolutely.
But if Ben wins this time around, you know what's happening. There we are for the trilogy.
You can choreograph another one so that we can all sit there and rinse some more money out of it.
But that's boxing.
I think there's better things to be doing than watching Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank. I think there are more meaningful fights that both of them could have had with more substance. I don't begrudge them earning money. If people are foolish enough to want to put this kind of money in these two fighters' hands, I know they turn around and say, "Oh, it was a wonderful fight. It was a wonderful fight. They left everything in the ring," so they should. I've seen just as good a fights in Witherspoons. So with due respect to the boxing profession.
Nonsense.
I think it's
You weren't there first time around. It was brilliant.
I watched it on the Sunday morning. I don't deny the spectacle. I don't deny the noise and the show business element of it. I don't deny Chris Eubank's innate ability to be able to be so charismatic in press conferences. He's overreached this time with his nonsense. But the fact is that I don't appreciate it. I don't value it as a fight. I don't value the circus around it. I don't buy into the nostalgia crap. I don't. And people can say I'm mean-spirited. I just have a different view of it. And so that means that everyone that goes to enjoy it, worry about your enjoyment. Don't worry about my lack of enjoyment.
You're clinging to this view. One man's view. I mean, are you more against it this time than you were the first time
I
around?
think a lot of people are not particularly enamoured by it. Ask Frank Warren what he thinks of it. People might say because he ain't got any skin in the game and ain't making any money out of it.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, I look...
Who you got in the rematch, Conor Benn or Chris Eubank Jr.? Drop your prediction below.